Hello everyone, it is Thursday, January 2nd, 2020. Of course, yesterday was New Comic Book Day on New Year's Day, which is a great way to start the new year by picking up some new books. So it was not a huge week. There were some decent books, but not a real giant week to start the new year. But we are going to jump right into the books. First one is from Marvel. We're going to do Daredevil Through Hell Part 6. I just really like that cover. I saw it and picked it up. I am a Daredevil fan. I'm not real wild about this storyline, but I do enjoy that cover right there. Next up, one of the real big releases yesterday was the new Star Wars. This was cover A. A lot of covers on this Star Wars book. My shop only picked up a couple. That's okay because this was my favorite. Right there with Yoda. Of course, all the hype over the baby Yoda, as they call them. But I always like this cover. I like Obi-Wan. I like, Yoda. So that was a no-brainer right there. Wouldn't be a New Year's without Harley Quinn welcoming you and wishing you a Happy New Year. Right there. This is a Cho cover, black and white. Really nice. Although he does draw some of his female characters in ways that I don't like. That is a nice cover right there. Detective 1018. Detective 1018. There was a Batman Beyond cover B I wanted to get, but there was none available. So kind of a small week. It's going to be kind of a small week for DC more than normal. Really nice looking cover right here. Lois Lane number 7. Kind of doing that Superman pose. And of course, the Walmart Giants have been coming out. They're really, really nice. We've talked about that. $4.99 price point for 100 pages. Some people don't like them. I like them. I like anything where you're going to get lots of quality and a lot of story for a small price. $4.99 for 100 pages is pretty good. This one is Superman. This right here. Of course, there is one with Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's really hot right now. That was at Walmart's, if you can find them, but they sell out really, really fast. So good luck with that. But it is going up and up and up. And then a couple of the DC Black labels. Joker Harley, the Criminal Insanity storyline. This was one cover here. I did read this one. Really, really liked the story. I am looking forward to the third issue. And then this was my favorite cover of the week, hands down. I just really like that cover right there for Joker Harley, Criminal Insanity number 2. Good story with him in this one here. Kind of a sad story. The old man in his life doesn't really treat him very nicely. So really, really cool cover right there. I just kind of like that, looking in the mirror, seeing a different person. Book that came out either last week or the week before. This was a recommendation from my friend Rudy, so thank you, Rudy. This is from Image Comics. This is Olympia number 1. So I'm going to read that based off of his recommendation. If you have read this book, place it in the comments. Let me know what you thought about it as well. Source Point, Classic Pulp. This is a $4 book, but again, you're looking at that right there, old EC style or old pre-code horror. Absolutely love that type of artwork. And again, there's going to be something lurking behind that door. We dare you to read this book. That's the way they did it back then. Love them. Also from Source Point, Touching Evil number 2. There's that. Source Point had a few books that came out this week. This I also believe is from Source Point. Yes, it is. This is Misplaced. The Misplaced number 2. Right there. One of my favorite characters. We've talked about this before. And I like the storylines when they come out. This is a one-shot. This is Stabbity Bunny, Emmett's story. Right there. One-shot. I do like Stabbity Bunny. And this is from Scout Comics. $3.99 for a one-shot. I'll grab that. I was looking forward to this one here. This is from Image. This is Philadelphia number 2. This was one cover here. And cover 2. Don't have to be a rocket science to know what those teeth are. So there is that there. From IDW, this says I Can Sell You a Body. This looks like it has a pretty good premise of it. I am looking forward to reading this one. I really, tell me if you picked this one up here. There were some of these left on the shelves, but I think this might have something down the road, because again, you kind of look at certain books, especially from these independent titles, that might have a little bit of, traction as it relates to a TV show. This story premise right here, I Can Sell You a Body, kind of falls into that group for me. And then finally, final book, which is a book I'm really looking forward to. Again, it's from Source Point, and this is Doll Island. It's a little kind of a graphic novel, thicker book right here. But I am looking forward to reading this, Doll Island. There's that kind of a creepy doll right there. And I don't know if this is based off of the Japanese town where there is a forest in Japan, if you don't know, that is used as like a suicide forest. People go there and just kill themselves. I know it was kind of probably not the actual Doll Island. There is a Doll Island, but there is also a place in Japan where there is a forest. It's a real creepy forest. And there's a lot of documentaries. You can find a lot of videos on YouTube that people just go there and, they hang themselves or take their own lives, which is actually kind of sad. But I wonder if the premise of this book is going to be the same, since I haven't had a chance to read it. If you have read Doll Island, leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about it. So now that we are in 2020, that's all we had this week. Wasn't, again, really big week, but there were some pretty decent titles that are going to be some really good reads. Again, starting next week, I am going to start doing, before we get to that, the other big book that came out, which I really wasn't interested in, was Donny Cates' Thor. Kind of thumbed through it, didn't really catch my interest, so I wasn't going to pick that up. And again, if I wanted to pick up a #1, there's going to be plenty of them out there, so it wasn't something that I thought was a must. With 2020 upon us, I hope that everybody has a very, very successful, healthy, safe new year. I am going to change some of the ways that I buy books this year. I am getting closer and closer. Someone always asks me about, how I work a business model. This is my business model. These are just basically goals that I set for myself to accomplish every quarter as I lead up to, let me just hang that back up, as I lead up to, finding a location and getting Arkham Comics up and running on a brick and mortar, which is something that ultimately, I'm going to do. But one of the most important things is, if you don't have an accurate business model, or you're not true to your business model, you are going to fall into what a lot of these shops fall into. You just can't open up a shop with a personal collection. My personal collection will not be for sale. That's not going to be in there. Everything that you see me buy, the vintage books that I show, the new books that I show, all that gets put away for inventory. I want to have a certain amount of inventory. You want to be able to run your business successfully. Are you going to pay yourself a salary if you work in your shop? You should pay yourself a salary. If you're not paying yourself a salary, you're doing the business model wrong. My job, my goal is to be here for the long term. I'm not opening up a shop for a year and a half. I want to open up a shop, for 20 years, whether I continue to run it or someone takes it over. But I want Arkham Comics to be a footprint in this town. And the only way to do that is by taking your time and doing your model correctly. Remember, when you're starting something big like a personal business or any big decision in life, it's not a speed race. It's a long marathon, and the more time you take, the more you invest, the more you take the time to make sure that you're meeting all your goals on a quarterly basis. You should do a quarterly update and check your stuff quarterly to make sure that you're standing within your goals. In order to do that, that's how businesses are successful. If you don't do that, you're not going to be successful, and you're just going to be another comic book shop that closes up its doors and sells their inventory to other people for pennies on the dollar because they failed, because they didn't do the most important thing, which was, are you meeting all your goals every quarter that you're supposed to? So there was that. But my buying stand, my buy kind of went off track. That was a question from a viewer about how I know if I'm ready to open a business or not. So you meet quarterly goals on what you want. So the big thing is, for 2020, I'm going to change some of my buying habits. I'm not going to buy so many multiple copies of new books. I'm going to trim that down, because it's time for me to start concentrating again on more vintage inventory, more 12-cent books that I can find, even if you're not finding them in a high grade condition, anything 4.0 and above now. Like we stated, a lot of these books, a lot of these 12 centers, especially keys, they're hard to find. So now you have to try to put your focus somewhere else. Of course, if you can find the high grade books, you jump all over them. But if not, if you can find good 12 centers, good titles in the 12 cent category, pre-code in 10 cent in any condition, basically, as long as it's not, you know, falling apart at the seams when you open it up. Those are things you're going to want to put away, because you want a certain amount of books, because customers want to come into a space, they want to look and see that you have a fantastic inventory of different things. And there is a market for people who like the lower grade books. I specialize and pride myself on having really high grade books, or better than most people as it relates to condition to sell. So that's my goal. My goal is to always be, you know, the go-to place for books that people are looking for. And, you know, I have a good following. And with that said, you know, this was the first video of the year. There's going to be some changes as we move forward. I'm very excited for what 2020 is bringing, not only personal life, but to this channel, to the hobby, to the industry. I think it's going to be a fantastic year. I look forward to doing that with you, the viewers. And again, I appreciate all the views. I appreciate all the support, all the comments. I thank everybody who gave condolences on my last video due to the loss of my friend and co-worker. So thank you for that. It did mean a lot and kind of picked up my spirits, quite frankly, and allowed me to kind of just push through. So I thank you for that. You know, kind word goes a long way with people. So again, thank you for the viewers. If you don't, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. If you know somebody who might like it, subscribe. Thumbs up if you liked it. So that's all we have this week. So look for the video either Monday or Tuesday as it relates to the upcoming releases for next week. I hope you liked the video, but as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great day, and let's have a great 2020.